Should your author social media be under your author name or under the name of the book series that you're writing? This is a question we get a lot, and as a social media marketing educator and speaker and multi-time best-selling author, I have an answer for you, and it's really important you hear me out. When it comes to creating your social media, you need to use your own name. You must use your own name, and I highly recommend, if you plan on doing anything else in your life, you use either the word author or books in association with your handle if you want to keep it specific to your publishing life, unless you plan on doing an overall personal brand that should just be your name. So if you're an author and you're creating your social platforms, I recommend using your name and books. And this is for a very specific reason, because as you're building up your social platforms, you should be doing this before your debut comes out. But nobody's going to take you seriously if you call yourself an author if you do not have a buy link for your book. At that point, if you try to build an author platform, people are going to ignore you and you're going to burn them out by talking about your book. So we talk about this all the time. There's lots of videos here on the channel on it. You can see more, but the overview is that you shouldn't be running your mouth about your novel until it's ready to go out to the public, until there's a buy link. If you are talking about your book for months, for years, for however long you're writing this novel and eventually getting it out into the world, you are going to make people think that it's never going to happen. You're going to burn them out because they're going to hear so much about it, but not be able to read it, not be able to buy it, especially if you're shopping it out to a traditional publisher that could potentially cost you a book contract if you're talking about it in advance. You want to make sure that people are growing with you, but aren't here solely to be sold to. So if you don't have books out yet, you're not calling yourself an author. When you have a buy link, now you can call yourself an author and start to build up the following in an author capacity. Before that, you're building up your social platforms as a representation of the genre you're going to be writing in. You want to be someone who is an influencer for that genre. You want to be somebody who people come to for recommendations. So if you write young adult sci-fi, you are going to talk all about young adult sci-fi novels, give recommendations, talk about who's going to like this book and who's going to like this book and who this book is for and what type of personality should be reading different books. You're going to become the authority in that side of the industry so that when it's your turn, you can say, oh, by the way, now that you're all here, you're following me, you've taken my recommendations, we've formed this community, I also have something for you. Here's a book and here's the buy link. So at that point, you're building up your authority in the industry. Then you're going to tell people that you also have a book out, and it's going to be a much better process for you. So I recommend you're using your name and books. When I first started out, it was KM Robinson Books. And until I merged all of my businesses together to form KM Robinson Life on social media, I had them differentiated. I had KM Robinson Books. And even today, my YouTube channel is still KM Robinson Books and is separate from my social media marketing education with KM Robinson. Now, my other social platforms, my Instagram and my TikTok, have now been merged into KM Robinson Life because TikTok and the other social platforms are encouraging us to be multidimensional. As somebody who's new, I don't recommend doing this. I recommend being niched down and building up your social platforms. So you're going to want to let people know who you are and use your handle to identify yourself. So KM Robinson Books or your name Books. You can use rights, you can use author, but again, this will burn out your audience and it will keep people from following you because they don't want to be sold to or pitched to. So that is a really good, easy way for you to build these things up. Now, I do not ever recommend you doing things through your series that you're creating, because you as an author should be creating more than one book, more than one series. You should not ever be stuck in one teeny tiny little thing. And if you build up your social platforms on that one line, that one novel, that one series, when you start to expand and grow, it will not grow with you. And that's going to be a problem. Yes, people understand what a series is. If they like the series, sure, they want to follow you, but they want to follow you as the author. They want to be able to grow with you. They want to be able to see what else you're doing. So no, you should not be using your series name as your social media name. That is going to really truncate your reach on social media. It is going to really hurt your community. It's going to hurt your growth. And then when you start to expand, when you start to get bigger, it's going to cause problems for you because you're not going to be able to change things very easily. It's going to be problematic. So we should not be doing that. However, if you want to be found for all of these things, you can be looking inside of your bios. You can be looking inside of your about section. All those things can use those keywords and triggers to help you get found. Now, the one exception to this is if you are already a massively well-known author with a massively well-known book. And those people are probably going to be traditionally published and have something like The Hunger Games on social media because people really strongly know those series. This type of thing is meant for the novels get turned into movies or TV shows or whatever it happens to be. And those are probably going to be run by your company that you're working with and not necessarily you. Independent of that, you still need to have an author platform. So if you are using your series name and you do anticipate growing big, you could actually be hurting that as well. So when it comes to creating your social media, you're using your name just as your name, or to make yourself found a little bit easier and make sure people understand who you are in the community, you're going to tag books onto the end. You can also use author or rights, but I don't recommend using either of those things, even when you are an established author, because it does hurt your reach. And then you have the ability to grow and go from there. Now, if you have questions about this, go ahead and drop those down below. As I said, I am a social media marketing educator and speaker. I travel around the country helping entrepreneurs save time and effort creating their social content so they can make more money online but spend less time doing it. And I've been in this game for even longer than I've been a multi-time best-selling author. In fact, that's how I started in this industry, by helping authors and publishers to level up their marketing. So I work directly with the social platforms. I work with a ton of different companies, and I can get your questions answered. So now's the time to go ahead and drop those down below. And if you want to talk more about how you can be growing as an author, as a reader, as a writer, as a publisher on social, now is the time to drop those questions and follow along for more, because we're dropping daily videos to help you level up in the publishing industry to make this your most profitable year ever. I'll see you in the next episode.